Hey there YouTube type viewer person, thank you for watching my videos. I know I haven't made a review in way too long of a time. Last one I made was Max Payne 3 and that was about 6 months ago. So thank you for your patience. Here I have a new video. It's disappointingly not a review. Haven't really found the time to do a full review. It's an old script of a study I did on Mafia's taxi missions of all things. It's specific and a bit random, but I don't know, we'll see how it goes. Could suck, could be awesome. Hope you enjoyed either way. There's nothing like revisiting Mafia's bright city of lost heaven to once again explore its darkest side. Mafia is one of those games I replay every year or two to remind myself of how well crafted games can be, and I know a lot of people feel the same. It's a game that's very dear to my heart, which is why it pains me when I see that people gave up on the game on the second chapter known as The Running Man. It mostly consists of taxi driving missions. Now these missions basically just involve driving around as Tommy Angelo, a struggling taxi driver during the Depression just trying to make his way. You take fares and try and safely deliver your passengers to their destination whilst avoiding doing anything aggressive to attract police or annoy the passengers. Even speeding will attract the cops, so abiding by the law is the easiest way of completing the mission. The mission is not unlike the mundanities of taxi driving in real life, and as a result it's somewhat infamously become that one boring taxi section from Mafia. So, why are the taxi missions in the game? I mean, the first chapter already tells you that Angelo is a taxi driver, so it's not like you're learning anything new, and the story could have just as easily continued the chase scene at the end of the chapter without losing any of the narrative. So to rephrase my question, why weren't the taxi missions cut from Mafia? I've come up with 3 main reasons for why I think they were included. Of course, there are more than just 3 reasons, like atmosphere building and showing world reactivity, but I think that the 3 I'm focusing on are the most important. The first being the most obvious. It's a tutorial. You can now get used to the driving physics, learn to use the map system, and familiarize yourself with the police system at a leisurely pace, all 3 of which play heavy roles throughout the game. The second reason, again, pretty obvious, is that it's a pacing element. Mafia intentionally follows a traditional pacing structure for films. Check out this graph I found on Google Images, where the vertical axis represents intensity and the horizontal axis represents the time passed. The game opens with an exciting car chase and then slows to a crawl with the taxi missions, preparing itself for the build-up that is the rest of the game. Of course, the rest of the game's pacing isn't exactly like this graph, but you get the idea. Having this downtime makes the rest of the game feel that much more intense, so as a pacing element, it works really well. The third reason is the reason I made this video, because it's kind of a bold design choice. The missions are meant to be boring. Now before you switch out, hear me out on this one. You're virtually living Tommy Angelo's life as a taxi driver in Mafia, right? It's a career that he finds to be mundane and unexciting, which is drawn parallel through the gameplay. This lets the player connect with Angelo through these shared feelings, and although you have no impact on whether he chooses to join the Mafia, spoilers, he does, you not only understand why he made the choice, but you share some of the feelings he had behind making the choice. Then throughout the rest of the game, you'll find yourself thinking, well, at least I'm not a taxi driver anymore, a feeling that is surely shared with Angelo. I think it's worth noting that this is something only a video game could pull off. A movie or book could show you or tell you that Angelo is a taxi driver, but only a game could let you be a taxi driver. So despite the heavy reliance on cutscenes in Mafia, it still plays to the strengths of being a video game rather than anything else. So what do you think? This kind of raises questions, you know? Do you think it's fair on the consumer for a game to be boring if it has ulterior motives? Personally, I think it can go both ways, but I struggle to see any more examples aside from Mafia. Little Inferno and Spec Ops: The Line do some sort of similar things, but not really in the same way. I'm sure by this point you've gathered that I think Mafia managed to pull it off, but I can understand why it's a turn-off for a lot of people. If you found this video because you hate those taxi missions and can't be bothered to keep playing, all I can say is that I dead set promise you that the game gets much, much better. And I wish I was in your position playing Mafia again for the first time. Have fun, and thanks for watching.